Hello, in this training video we're going to take a variety of holiday snaps and create a travelogue that other people can view as a slideshow so they can share in your holiday memories. And you don't even need to be there when they look at the slideshow because you can add your own narration to it using a microphone plugged into your PC, or you can type in captions to describe different locations. And the other cool thing is, of course, you can add transitions to go from one slide to the other and even create movement so you can zoom out from a particular part of the photo to the image as a whole. But let's kick off with 36 source files that you'll find on the disk. Now these were taken in Turkey, and we actually took about 600 photographs altogether, but these 36 are kind of like the 36 you get from an old film roll. We've boiled it down to some of the best shots that we could find. And first of all, what we'll do once we've imported them into Elements using File Import is just to get organized a little bit before we make the slideshow by creating an album. So click on the new album icon, and let's call this one Turkish Delights. It's just much easier to get organized by doing an album like this. There you go. And then you can select the shots from the organizer window here, and you'll find those here. So I'm just going to hold Shift to scroll down to the end of my 36, and then Shift again and drag the selected shots into the album. And now if I click on the album, then we'll only see the shots that we've imported from our Turkish trip. And you can see now that all of our shots have got a little red icon there to show that they're all part of the same album. But now we've finished organizing ourselves, let's go and create our slideshow. So click on the Create option here, and you've got a variety of choices, and of course slideshow is just down near the bottom, so click on that and up pops the Preferences dialog box. Now it's worth spending a little time using the Preferences dialog window because that'll save you a lot more time later on when you start to change individual transitions, for example. If you just click Random, then it'll throw in lots of different transitions, and if there's any really horrible ones, and there are some really cheesy ones in there, then we can change those later. A duration of about 5 seconds is more than enough, because you don't want to bore the people that are looking at the slideshow. You just want to leave them wanting more, or they can always play it again. And a 2-second transition is fine as well. We don't really want to spend loads of time going from one slide to the other, so you could even take that down to 1 if you like. Background color is fine to leave it on black, and I strongly suggest you turn this off because if you start to zoom in and pan across the slides, then it kind of ruins your careful composition. You might have spent ages framing a shot, and then all that careful framing will be lost because it starts off in the middle of the shot. So it's like cropping it basically. You can add pans and zooms later, so definitely leave that off for the moment, and I'll show you how to give individual photographs the pan and zoom treatment. You can have captions as text that come from the photos themselves, but we don't need to do that. We can type in our own text later, and what we'll do is we'll add our own audio narration using a microphone, so you can turn that off for the moment. There are no audio captions attached to these files anyway at the moment, so we can do these in the slideshow itself. And you don't quite know how long the slideshow is going to be or how long your music's going to be, so yes, you could keep the soundtrack repeating until the last slide has left the building, as it were. You don't really want to crop your shots. That does mean that you'll have black bars at the side of portraits, but you then get the whole shot as it was taken, so I would leave that unticked. And for preview quality, let's stick with high. OK, let's click OK, and we're ready to create our slideshow. So welcome to the slideshow editor, and here we can fine-tune the existing slideshow, but we've told it what we want. We want random transitions, we don't want panel zoom, and just click play for a little test first of all, and you'll see that it plays 5 seconds on each slide, and then it comes to a transition and it will mix there, or perhaps do a wipe or a horrible dissolve. That's a bit of a pixely looking one, didn't like that very much. Here's a cross dissolve coming up now. There we go, and you can see it's jumping forward and playing through slide by slide. Now, I'm not going to do them all. Ooh, that was particularly cheesy. So I'm going to hit pause there, and I'll fine-tune the default slideshow. So the easiest thing to start off with is to reorder the slide. Let's kick off with a Turkish flag here at the beginning to introduce Turkey, and to drag that over to here is a fairly simple job. And now it starts with that shot and then dissolves through to our next image. And you can scroll through and just see the shots as they appear, and all the transitions as well. They have a little preview icon. There's a wipe, for example. Let's just click on there to test that one, and you can see that it jumps through a wipe effect to the next shot, like so. Okay, so there's our order. We can change things very easily by dragging and dropping until we've fine-tuned the story that we want to tell with the slideshow.